Five Nights at Freddy's, a game series by Scott Cawthon about robots who come to life and chase you around pizzerias. This series has always terrified me ever since I first watched Markiplier play it in 2014, and in honor of Security Breach, the newest FNAF game, I decided I would tackle a question I've thought about ever since the game released all those years ago. What makes the Five Nights at Freddy's series scary? Now, the obvious answer to this question would be jump scares, right? I mean, yeah, you can say that, but there's a lot more to it. A jump scare is going to startle someone, of course, but the real fear is what leads up to the jump scare. The tension. If you played Five Nights at Freddy's 1 for the first time with zero prior knowledge to the series, the game basically tells you nothing. All it does is give you a phone call that tells you to shut the doors if they come near you. It never says specifically if you see them in the door lights. All Phone Guy says is,
"But hey, first station of the breeze. I'll chat with you tomorrow. Check those cameras and remember to close the doors only if absolutely necessary. Gotta conserve power. Alright, good night."
So a lot of people might just close the doors the second they move, but then that leaves a problem: power. Now on the first two nights you can be a little unconservative of your power as the animatronics aren't as active, but once you get to say night 3, the game really forces you to face your fears and keep those doors open and only close them, as Phone Guy said,
"Only if absolutely necessary."
The power system in FNAF 1 is absolutely genius. The tension it creates really helps instill fear in the player. Combine that with the minimal instructions you're given, and you have a great horror game on your hands that's actually scary. But what happens if the power goes out?
Ah! Oh no! Oh no! Oh, no.
Fear. Losing power in FNAF 1 is not instant death. That's what makes it so scary every single time. You still have a chance once the power goes out. The time it takes for Freddy to reach your office, play a song, and jump scare you is all completely random. He could jump scare you within 10 seconds of the power going out, or within a minute. This is completely out of the control of the player. They just have to sit there and hope that RNG will be good to them. In later games, this tension would be brought back again. In FNAF 2, it's the mask system. Seeing if you put the mask on fast enough, as you really only have like half a second to do so, and in FNAF 3, it's the phantom animatronics. You don't know when they're going to show up and force you to reboot all those systems. In Five Nights at Freddy's 4, this is taken to a whole new level with the breathing mechanic. Out of all games, this game is the scariest to me. The game forces you to max out the volume and try to listen closely to if there's breathing or not, because if you don't and flash your light into the hall because you didn't hear the audio cue, you're gonna get jump scared, and since you probably weren't expecting it and had your audio so high to hear the breathing, you had an actually scary jump scare that's loud as hell. Speaking of the importance of audio cues, although they are vital in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, in other FNAF games, some audio cues can be extremely helpful, while others distract you and cause you to panic wondering what they mean. These helpful and unhelpful audio cues are most prominent in FNAF 1. In FNAF 1, audio cues like hearing footsteps, Freddy laughing, and kitchen sounds are extremely helpful to knowing the whereabouts of the animatronics, as the footsteps indicate that someone has moved. Freddy laughing indicates that he has moved. And kitchen sounds indicate that either Chica or Freddy are in the kitchen. These audio cues can help the player use less power as they don't have to check the camera to know if the character's moved. However, the sound of the fan may make these sounds harder to hear as the constant buzzing can be really distracting. Apart from the fan, at random times in the night, this circus song can start playing, and its only purpose is to distract the player and cause them to panic. The player may also experience distorted sounds followed by the text "It's me" on screen, although this is important from a lore perspective. In terms of gameplay, this is just another red herring to distract the player from actually important sounds like footsteps and movement. Then there's the ambience. Every Five Nights at Freddy's game has its own background ambience audio. This audio really helps immerse the player in the world of the game. In FNAF 1, the ambience feels ominous, paranormal almost, like something you'd expect to hear in a horror movie about a creepy abandoned pizzeria. FNAF 2 sounds very similar to FNAF 1 with the whole paranormal feeling, however, it doesn't feel abandoned. FNAF 3 loses the paranormal feeling, but brings back the rundown and abandoned feel of FNAF 1. And then, skipping forward a little, FNAF 6's ambience reminds you that you're working there during the day. You can hear the laughs and screams of children inside the restaurant while you're trying to complete tasks while fending off horrible monsters in the vents. All of this, the ambience, the tension, audio cues, and red herrings combine to make a formula that I almost expect from the series. Keyword almost. In the newest installment of the series, Security Breach, I feel the tension is completely lost from 90% of the game. And without the tension, the game loses the FNAF formula and becomes a lot less scary. The only time I've ever felt tension in this game was in the endo section in the basement. The premise of the section is very simple. The endos move when you aren't looking at them, and you have to navigate around them. But this section has it all. The tension of the endos and always having to turn around and look behind you to see if more are creeping up on you, the audio cues of them moving around, and the ambience of the basement. Now, what's scarier than playing a computer game about being a nighttime security guard in a haunted pizzeria where animatronics are chasing you down? A VR game about being a nighttime security guard in a haunted pizzeria where animatronics are chasing you down. FNAF VR, in my opinion, is the absolute peak of horror in the FNAF series. FNAF VR captures something that the others obviously can't. The fact that you feel like you are actually there. You are actually in that security office, checking those cameras, checking those lights, shutting the doors, and these animatronics are actually coming after you. This game features a collection of nights from the first 4 games and new mini-games. All of these have the same formula of the non-VR games, but with the stakes heightened. In FNAF 4, there's a minigame where you have to try to get this guy called Plush Trap to land on the X by flashing your light to see if he moves. Now yeah, that's kinda scary, you know, your screen is completely dark and nothing but the ambience of the night, but imagine that in VR. Instead of a dark screen, your entire vision is darkened. The entire world around is completely dark. The only chance you have at using a light is that flashlight, and if you run out of time, he's gonna jump scare you. Everything that has ever made the Five Nights at Freddy's series scary is perfectly captured in FNAF VR, and I absolutely love it. So there you have it, I guess. My best answer to the question of what makes Five Nights at Freddy's scary. If I had to choose only one thing that would make the series scary, I would obviously choose tension, but the other things I mentioned like audio and ambience are also really important. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, blah blah blah. You know the whole thing already. But seriously, subscribing and liking the video does help a lot, and so does leaving a comment. I love reading what people have to say about my videos, and it's probably my favorite part about doing this. I have a lot of other videos like this, so if you're interested, please check them out. And as always, thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.